What's up, gang? I know it's been a minute or two since I uploaded the last video. We got kind of a cool project now. The ZX900 is gone and sold off to a happy home. There's been a couple other bikes going through here, nothing really spectacular to write home about. But these are kind of cool. I haven't worked on one of these in a long time. Here are a pair of Kawasaki LTD 454s, or EN 454s, whatever you want to call them. They're kind of cool because their motors are pretty much exact replicas of the ZX900, just chopped in half. And I'll show you what I mean. There's my old ZX900 motor, the bad one, alright? And this is the 454. A lot of similarities there. Anyway, these 454s are famous for beating a Corvette 454 big block in some kind of a race, some kind of a drag race or whatever. Supposed to be pretty plucky little bikes. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the motor from the far one and putting it in this one, because this one has a good title. You know, basically like what I did with the ZX900s. There's a lot of parts that I'm taking off the black one and putting on the blue one as well. First off, the blue one comes with this bitchin' gas tank. Can you believe that? Look at that little inlay. Somebody put a lot of time into this gas tank and then just fucking blew up the motor because the motor didn't have any compression in it. But so like you see like tires, you know, old wore out tire, bitchin' tire. Let me see, like these, you know, foot pegs and junk like that, you know, they're gonna be transferred over. Front tire already transferred over the front fender. It had this stupid little fender, so I already put that tire or that fender over there. Headlight, it didn't have a headlight, I put that on. It didn't have a tachometer, I put the tack on. Blah blah blue. The big thing is the motor. However, you all have already seen me do one of those. So what we're going to do now is the swing arm and drive belt. This has a drive belt. See that in here? Drive belt rather than a chain or a drive shaft. Which, I mean, it's whatever. My first bike was a drive belt, actually, a KZ305. I mean, it's whatever. It's quiet and light, you know. But not having a like a master gear that you can take apart to unthread the chain makes it just a little bit more difficult. So what I've decided to do is I'm just going to take the whole ass end off. Because I need this tire, you know. So I'm just going to take the swing arm, I'm going to take the tire, and I'm going to take the drive belt, and I'm just going to take it all off here and put it on there. Alright, so the exhaust has to come off anyway to do the motor swap, so I'm just going to rip that on out of there to get more access to the swing arm. Alright, so I got my pipes off, and now you can see the belt and how it runs through here. This belt is actually a very expensive thing. The only replacements I could find were used, and they were asking 150 bucks for a used belt for this bike that's about as old as I am. So definitely gonna try and not pinch it or damage it while I'm working on it. Right now I'm gonna expose this cover. This is where the front sprocket is. I'm gonna expose that, try and take it off, or you know, loop the belt over it, and then we'll start detaching all the stuff that's hanging onto the swing arm. Alright, so here's the front sprocket. We've got a clip here that's held on by two 8mm bolts. I'm gonna stick the bike in gear and break these bolts and then slide this thing off. And let's just sort of try and wiggle this thing out of here to loosen off the belt. Alright, so not wanting to crack the belt at all, I want to take good care of this thing, you know. So I'm going to revise my plan here. See, this is how it works. Pretty cool. And take good care of it. Even though this thing is loose and it will pop out, the belt is holding it on there, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to loosen off the axle back here. I'm going to move the rear wheel forward just a little bit, create slack on the belt. The belt is going to sort of like shift into this space in here, this interim space. I'm going to remove the sprocket and then the belt will be totally free. So let's give that one a shot. Well, Max, that's enough of being lazy. Time to do it the real way. I moved the wheel a little bit forward, still not enough slack to get that belt off, so I'm just going to have to take the axle out, let the wheel chunk down, and then push it just absolutely as far as it'll go until it hits the swing arm down here. Then we'll be able to get the belt off. Pain in the ass, but it's got to get done. Alright, so once there's enough slack in the belt, this thing just slips right off. Couldn't be easier. Alright, now, if it wasn't for the fact that it was a belt, I'd just, like I said, I'd undo the chain and leave the swing arm in. However, you can see that the swing arm is clearly in the way, so I'd have to remove the swing arm anyway, and I'm just going to get all this shit out of here. So, swing arm is, it's as simple as it looks. You got one big ass bolt and a big ass nut. You take that off. We're going to disconnect this either here or here, depending on whether we're going to reuse this rear shock or the pair of rear shocks on the other bike. I'll see which one's nicer, and then it all just should just sort of barf on out of here. So fingers crossed. All right, both shocks came off, and you can see this thing just flops down. You see why it's called a swing arm now, because it swings. All right, one more bolt, and we should be out. All right, so with the swing arm bolt out, there's nothing holding it on anymore. Swing arm's out. Here's this precious belt. Doing good work here today, ladies and gentlemen. Feels good to see a motorcycle like this. Yes. Anyone want a stupid little dog? Seriously, we're dog sitting this little thing, and I can't imagine of a stupider animal.